morning. Pastor Lou here. It is second day of our Lenten Devotional. And so yesterday, Pastor Craig kicked us off. And so today, on Thursday, our second day, um, I am waiting for people to jump on here, but hey, good morning. We are studying for our Lenten Devotional this 40 days leading up to Easter. This book from George Acevedo called Everyone Needs Some Cave Time. And so I encourage you to go check it out. You can buy it on Amazon. It just came out, so it may take a little bit to get to you if you haven't ordered it already. But it's a great book, and so we're doing 40 days through that book, as well as our sermon series. Each week will follow that book as well. And so it's a really great, it's a great read. And it's following people through Old Testament and New Testament characters through what they would describe either physically or emotionally, mentally, their cave experiences. And so these times where they are in sort of a dark place, where they're tempted, where things around them are applying pressure or stress, or it's creating a need for change or reflection. And so we'll be focusing on these characters. And so I encourage you to go check out the book. And so today we're talking about spiritual inventory. And so I want to read for you verses out of Matthew. It's Matthew chapter 6. And it's just the first two verses here of the story that maybe you're familiar with, Jesus feeding the 5,000. And so Jesus and his disciples have been traveling. They've had this crowd that's followed them. And it gets to this point where there's a decision point, kind of. And so it says this, Mark chapter 6, verse 30, 31. It says, the apostles gathered around Jesus, and they told them all what they had done and taught. And so they had been doing the things Jesus had asked them to do. They had been teaching. They'd been helping in the community. They've been going and doing, sharing the gospel. So they came back and they're telling them they're excited about these things. And he said to them, come away to the deserted places all by yourselves and rest a while. For many were coming and going, and there were no leisure even, they had no leisure even to eat. And so here Jesus, as they're talking about ministry and life and doing the things that they're called to do, Jesus invites them to go off into an isolated place. And so as we get ready for this journey, I was sort of thinking about the past few years and maybe the last couple of Lents that we've experienced. And I thought of this, the last few years it's been difficult for us to travel, for my family to travel for a variety of reasons. One of those is places weren't open. The other is just schedules and those kind of things. And so we sort of got out of a rhythm of traveling. And maybe you kind of had the similar experience. I used to travel a lot. I'd be at conferences. I was in school, traveling back and forth. And then all of a sudden went through a season where we didn't travel at all. And so here recently, we've been able to travel a little bit. And it's been interesting as we get ready to go somewhere, that what was once easy for us to sort of pack and get together and collect our things and be ready for the trip now is a little bit more difficult. That it takes us longer. That for me personally, I'm always thinking, am I forgetting something? Where are the things I need? And I'm trying to collect all the pieces so that I can go on this trip. And Jesus, he's inviting people to prepare for a journey. He's inviting the disciples. You've gone out, you've taught, you've done these things, and that's fantastic. But the journey is much longer than just these simple events in life. And so he's inviting them to come to a place to take an inventory, to kind of prepare themselves. And that's the season of Lent, these 40 days that it's a season of reflection where we're taking inventory within ourselves, maybe of this last year. What are the things that we really leaned into because of our faith? What are the things that maybe we stepped around in our faith, those places where maybe there was hurt, maybe it was difficult to give forgiveness, to navigate relationships, or really sort of wrap our mind around what God was doing in the world around us. And so to navigate those pieces, to really take inventory, and then to prepare for where we're going. So Jesus is inviting us into that step. And Psalm 51 says this, a section of it, and you're familiar with this psalm, I imagine, as well. Psalm 51 has this line that maybe you've heard if you've ever been in a church. It's a line that we've sung in hymns, that we've repeated over and over again. And it says this: David says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and put a new and right spirit within me." It says, "Do not cast me from your presence. Do not take your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and sustain in me a willing spirit." And that first line, "Create in me a clean heart, put a new and a right spirit within me." And sometimes that is the work of our inventory, that we're preparing ourselves for God to do something new within us, to renew our passion, to renew our a sense of purpose, to renew our mission in life as we navigate this next season. And so I want to encourage you not only to be reading this book, because I think it's a fantastic one. There's lots of great books. This one is a good one for the season that we're in right now. And so I encourage you to check that out. But to be taking that inventory within yourself, that spiritual inventory. What are the areas that I've really struggled with maybe over this last year? Have I struggled with grace? Have I struggled with peace? Have I struggled with patience? Have I really had a hard time being kind, showing the goodness of God to the people around me? Where are those places that have really created tension in your life? And how can we use this next 40 days? How can we use this next season for us to add something new into our inventory, to add to our life? Maybe it's a practice. Maybe it's something to help us focus as we go through our day. A way for us to ask maybe a question. Where have I showed kindness today? What has robbed me of my peace? What are the ways in which I'm finding hope, moment by moment, day by day? And over these 40 days, for us to really focus on these areas, to be prepared for this journey, this next season in life, as we get ready for this time of Easter that we celebrate. We lift up this idea of the resurrection, the anchor of our faith. It's a new season for all of us, and so how do we step into that? And so I want to invite you to be a part of that. Hey, Billy, good to see you this morning. I want you to invite you to be part of that, to be deeply thinking about what are the things that you would like to bring on the journey with you. Asking God to help give you the tools to carry those, to remember to bring those each and every day, everywhere you go, so that over this season we can become more and more like the person of Christ, that God can create something new within us, that our heart can be transformed and changed, that something new can be birthed out of this season of 40 days. And so I want to encourage you to do that. If there's any way that we can help you as a church, we would love to do that. Be a part of this study in the morning. So Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. we're doing this devotional here live online, and so we want you to be a part of that. Join us on Sundays. If you miss, the worship services are online, but I encourage you to be in worship, to be with one another as we walk through the season and check out the book. And so it is great to be with you this morning. I'm going to go wrestle children into their clothes and get them to school. And do all those fun morning activities. But have a blessed day, and I will see you all this weekend. Thanks. Have a great day.